The grand chamber of the Galactic Council glittered with impossible light. Thousands of species from across the spiral arms sat in their seats, chittering, buzzing, or whispering through translators. The air smelled faintly of ozone and ceremony. At the center, under a column of gold light, stood me, Captain Elias Vance, decorated war veteran, and the only human present. Humanity's name had been carved into galactic history after the Threxian War. Against odds so steep they seemed suicidal, humans fought side by side, unyielding even as worlds burned. The Council called it valor. We called it survival. And now, in a gesture of gratitude, they were giving me a reward. Captain Vance of Sol, announced Chancellor Vyrek, his mandibles clicking ceremoniously. The Galactic Concord recognizes your courage and sacrifice. To commemorate your service, we present you with a servant of the highest genetic line from the conquered Threxian Dominion. A murmur rippled through the chamber. 2 guards entered, leading a figure in shimmering silver chains. She stepped into the light, tall, graceful, her skin faintly luminescent blue. Her eyes burned like molten sapphire, filled with something I hadn't expected, defiance. This is Sarai of Threx, Vyrek continued. She was trained in the royal sanctums of her people. Now, she is yours. My throat went dry. Around me, other species bowed or applauded softly, as if this was a gesture of honor. But to me it felt wrong, primitive. Humanity had long abandoned slavery, yet here, in this grand hall of supposed enlightenment, I was being offered one. Sarai raised her chin and locked eyes with me. "Do you accept?" she asked, her voice calm but layered with venom. Everyone waited for my response. I forced my voice steady. "I accept her release." A few counselors gasped. The Chancellor's expression twitched, caught between confusion and offense. "You misunderstand, Captain. She is yours. You cannot." I said. I interrupted. "I accept her release." Sarai's lips parted slightly. She blinked, as if uncertain whether I was mocking her. I wasn't. "Remove her chains," I said. When no one moved, I walked forward myself. The guards tensed, but I ignored them. One by one, I unfastened the clasps around her wrists and neck. The moment the final link fell, Sarai flinched, as if the sudden lightness hurt. "Captain Vance," Vyrek hissed. "This is not the custom." "Then maybe it's time your customs changed," I said, and turned to leave the hall. Sarai followed silently, free but uncertain. Behind us, the murmurs grew into scandalized whispers. A human had just rejected a galactic gift. The shockwaves would spread faster than light. Middle, the weight of freedom. My ship, the Resolute, hummed softly in the docking bay. As we departed the council station, Sarai stood by the viewport, arms crossed. Her posture was regal, but her eyes betrayed confusion. "You didn't have to do that," she said finally. "Do what?" "Embarrass yourself in front of the galaxy. You could have just accepted me like they wanted." I studied her reflection in the glass. "I don't own people." She tilted her head. "You're different from what they said humans were." "What did they say?" "That humans are sentimental. That you pretend to be moral until it costs you something." Her voice softened slightly. "And yet, you freed me." I smiled faintly. "Maybe we're just unpredictable." Days passed. Sarai remained on the ship, silent most of the time, learning human routines. She didn't sleep much or eat much either. Trauma ran deep in her kind, bred warriors, their lives steeped in violence and hierarchy. Yet when she spoke, it wasn't bitterness I heard, but curiosity. One evening, she appeared on the bridge while I was recalibrating the NAV system. Captain, she said quietly, may I ask, why did you fight for them? The council? She nodded. Because we didn't have a choice. Earth was in their crossfire. When the Threxians attacked, we fought back. Her gaze fell. And now they reward you by giving you one of us. There was no accusation in her tone, only a haunting irony. Later that night, I found her in the observation dome, staring at the stars. Do you hate me? I asked. Her eyes flicked toward me, then back to the stars. No. But I don't understand you. Most people don't. Then help me, she said softly. Explain why you did it. I hesitated. Because freedom means something to us. We've lost it before, fought for it. No one should be born to chains. She turned fully then, her expression unreadable. You sound like my mother. That caught me off guard. Your mother? She was a priestess, Sarai said. She believed our people's strength came from compassion, not conquest. The warlords killed her for it. I swallowed. I'm sorry. She said something before she died. Sarai continued. She told me, when you meet someone who frees you without asking for anything in return, follow them. Our eyes met. Then what now? I asked. She smiled faintly. Now I follow you, Captain. Middle, the truth of the chains. Weeks passed as we journeyed through quiet systems. Word of my defiance reached the galactic networks. Some species called me a fool. Others, a symbol of moral courage. Humans, it seemed, had sparked another kind of revolution, not through war, but through conscience. Sarai proved invaluable aboard the Resolute. She learned human systems quickly, often anticipating what I needed before I asked. Yet, sometimes I'd catch her staring out the viewport with distant eyes, the look of someone trying to remember what it meant to belong. One day, our sensors picked up a distress beacon Threxian signature. Against my better judgment, we followed it. The wreck drifted amid an asteroid field, a Threxian cruiser, torn apart by pirates. Inside, we found survivors, wounded soldiers, barely clinging to life. Among them, a commander recognized Sarai instantly. Highborn Sarai, he rasped, trying to rise. You live, the bloodline endures. Sarai froze. You shouldn't have come here. Your father's generals still fight, the soldier gasped. They plan to retake the Dominion. You are their heir. I renounce that life, she said sharply. He coughed blood, grinning through broken teeth. Then why are you with him? A human. Her silence spoke volumes. After we returned to the ship, I found her trembling in the corridor. Sarai. They'll hunt us now, she said. You don't understand. The Threxians never forget. They'll see you as a thief who stole their royal bloodline. I leaned against the wall. Then we'll run faster. Her gaze softened. You'd risk your life for me? I already did. For the first time since I met her, her composure broke. She stepped closer, eyes wet with something between gratitude and fear. You don't know what you've done, she whispered. By freeing me, you've set something in motion. My people will see this as rebellion or as hope, ending the weight of a choice. It didn't take long for the consequences to arrive. 3 weeks later, a Threxian dreadnought appeared on our scanners, massive, bristling with weapons. Their commander's image filled our view screen, scales glinting like obsidian. Human vessel resolute, the voice growled. You harbor Sarai of the royal blood. Surrender her immediately, or be annihilated. Sarai stepped forward, face hardening. Commander Vash, you dishonor yourself. The war is over. The war ends when the Threxian throne is reclaimed, Vash snarled. You belong to your people, not to him. She glanced at me. I belong to no one. The dreadnought's cannons charged. I gripped the helm, heart pounding, outgunned, outnumbered, classic human odds. Sarai, I said, I need you to trust me. Her hand found my arm. Always. I rerouted power to the engines and dove toward the nearby nebula, a storm of plasma and magnetic chaos. The dreadnought followed, firing bursts that lit the void. Inside the nebula, the ship rattled violently. They can't track us in here, I said, but neither can we see them. Then we make them blind, Sarai replied. She activated a Threxian resonance beacon, the same signal that had called us to the wreck weeks ago. But this time, it overloaded their sensors. The dreadnought's systems went haywire, mistaking phantom echoes for real ships. We emerged behind them, their shields down. I fired a single EMP torpedo. The blast crippled their systems. Silence filled the bridge. They'll survive, I said quietly. But they won't chase us again. Sarai turned to me, awe and sorrow blending in her eyes. You risked everything for me. You're not a servant, I said simply. You're someone worth fighting for. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The stars outside shimmered through the nebula mist, soft and unreal. Then she said the words that would stay with me forever. When you freed me, she whispered, you freed more than just one Threxian. My people will hear of this. They'll see that not all power is taken by force. Some is given through mercy. She looked into my eyes, the faintest smile on her lips. You have no idea what you've set in motion, Elias. Epilogue: A New Dawn. Months later, reports began to surface across the outer sectors. Threxian enclaves declaring independence from the warlords, choosing democracy over dominance. Some called it the Sarai movement. Others whispered another name, the human rebellion of hearts. From one act of defiance in a council hall, an empire began to crumble. Not through violence, but through compassion. Sarai stood beside me on the bridge of the Resolute, her gaze steady on the distant stars. Where to now, Captain? She asked. I smiled. Anywhere that needs change. She nodded, her voice quiet but resolute. Then let's make the galaxy remember. Freedom isn't given by rulers. It's built by those brave enough to see worth where others see weakness. As the ship accelerated into the unknown, I realized something profound. The galaxy had always feared humanity's strength in war. But soon, they would learn to fear and respect our strength in mercy.